Alright, and here's a video review of Unique Toys FENRIR, their version of Sinner Twin, and as part of their Orden Combiner, which is their version of Abominus. This is a test shot, so as such it may have a few loose bits, things you won't see on the final version, but it is close to done, as you can see. There's FENRIR himself. In Dinosaur mode, he does come with the same type of foot/gun weapon combo that Troll did, being the other leg. It's just the foot piece, and these can come off to form some pistols for robot mode, which we'll show off more, obviously, when we get to robot mode. But you can flip those off and make some little guns out of those. And the foot itself does have that little kind of missile pod built into it. All right. So yeah, FENRIR himself, he's got some posability here in his legs. There actually is a little tab here that holds this upper leg in place, but that does tend to make his rear legs a little short. If you don't want, if you don't want him to crouch over, if you want him to stand a little taller, you can unhook. There's that little tab right there. There's a little slot. It's hard to see on the inside of right there, the inside of this leg that fits over it. You can bring this down and extend the legs a little bit, but just know that they're going to be, if there's any looseness up here, they're not going to lock into place the way they would with that tab properly tabbed in up here. So yeah, some joints in the legs. The dragon heads are on a ball joint here and a hinge up here, so they got because they rotate around. But there's a ball joint up here, there's a ball joint up here, and then the mouth opens. So you can get the dragon heads in some very unique and disparate poses versus just sticking straight out. On the old one, it was just two solid chunks. So you've got some posability there. And then the front leg also has, range of movement. The front leg does become the robot mode arm for that. The tail pieces, these hook tail pieces, are actually a soft rubbery plastic. Not really soft, but a rubbery plastic. I mean, they feel sturdy enough. They don't feel cheap or anything, but they do have a little bit of give to them. And they actually unplug. They can be hand weapons in robot mode, and we'll show that off. But they're not built in, and like in a couple of modes, they just kind of sit off to the side. So it would have been nice if they could have incorporated that into the design itself. But with so much, there's actually some really neat stuff going on in this transformation. So I can't really entirely fault them for making these separate pieces. I love the way they become weapons in robot mode. It just would have been nice if they incorporated into the leg mode a little bit better, or at all. So transformation, you pop those off, and just set those off to the side for leg mode. And on leg mode, everything kind of folds back. These fold up. You'll see that these fold up and clip together like that. And you just kind of bring them around to the back here. You want to rotate the legs around like this at the waist, which is going to bring these around. The front of the robot chest and the front of the legs is how he forms leg mode. And then the arms come back. He ends up having a lot of stuff going on down here. So in this piece, this whole panel with the heads comes off and down. And you see there's a little peg right in the middle of this post. There you go, you can see it. That's going to peg in down here. And that locks the waist swivel in place. So again, they've done a really good job of transforming these in a way so that the robot mode articulation doesn't end up sacrificing anything to the leg mode. It locks that waist joint in place, so now he's this nice sturdy leg, which is kind of cool. And these just kind of come down here and sit down like this. The arms are where it gets a little funky, because you got to pull this out. You want to rotate this down so you can see this screw. Actually, want to even rotate a little bit up like that. The screw is going to face the outside, and then this whole black assembly rotates down, and this little tab right here is going to tab into the slots here on the back on either side. So you rotate this down and tab it in. This sits like this. This rotates up, and then this just kind of folds up and down, however you can get it to work here in come on, I had this in here. There we go. So you just kind of fold everything. So on the leg mode from the side, everything kind of folds into the back here. I guess you just do it like that. Actually, that kind of fits with that notch in the dragon's head. There may be a slightly more elegant way to arrange all this stuff on the back. This came without instructions. I'm going off of pictures online, but it seems accurate enough. So there's the base of the leg mode, and then just like Troll, you split the legs here. There's a couple tabs here on the foot piece that just peg right in here. And there's his leg mode. So there's center twin in leg mode. I don't have Orden in leg mode right now. I'm showing off in robot mode comparison. But just to give you an idea of how big his leg is. And just for the fun of it, this is actually a knockoff Abominus. But just to give you an idea of how big he is compared to the old G1 figure. You can see the leg comes up to the chest, the lower abdomen, like right under the rib cage of the original Abominus combiner. So he's going to be pretty big. And again, just to get an idea, if you've got Tigress or Fellasaber from the Mastermind, you can see the leg mode here is almost as tall as Fellasaber. So again, not an insubstantial combiner when all is going to be said and done. And he's got the tilt. He doesn't have any sort of swivel here at the ankle. It's just a tilt. But that should be enough to give him a good range of poses. It'll probably be able to twist here at this connector point, I would guess. We haven't seen their version of Hunger yet, so we'll see. So yeah, a little chunky from the side, but even then from the side, like there's some stuff back here, but it doesn't feel ungainly in the overall thickness of a lower leg for a giant robot. So we'll see how it plays out once everything's all said and done, but it doesn't feel like he's really much more massive from front to back than Troll is in leg mode. So we'll go ahead and pop this foot off. Set that off to the side. Continue on to robot mode. Now the first thing you do again is just bring the arms back up to where they were. So rotate that. Tab it in. Bring the arm down. I do like the yellow and teal. He kind of looks vaguely like the same kind of color scheme as Weird Wolf or Fans Project's. What was his name? Oh, Quadruple U, yeah. It's that same yellow and teal with some purple and silver highlights and red on it, but very cool. So bring these down. Lift this panel up, and this whole, like, unlike the other two, which had a little problems getting the fists out of the arms, this is actually all one piece that rotates, so it's very easy to get the fists out here. You just rotate this whole piece back. This is actually on a hinge here, so instead of just folding it like that, bring this up on the hinge and the ball joint up here, like that, and that will let you fold the hand all the way out and down. You can fold that up against the back of the forearm. Now what's also cool is, I forgot to show this off, there's a ball joint here in the paw on the front leg, and then even this gray piece is separate from the teal piece. You can pose that as well. So that's kind of cool. So bring it around, then pull this hinge up for clearance, and just bring that whole thing around, and there you've got both of his arms done. This piece comes back up onto his upper body, and these two pegs peg in right here where they were before, in the middle of these. Just peg those in, and then you kind of turn the dragon heads around to face inward. But these are just going to kind of hang off his backpack here. It does free up the waist joint again. Now for the lower legs, I'm going to bring these out, fold the paw down. You can kind of see how the shape of the foot there fits this piece. So you're going to kind of make that just kind of a squarish chunk here on the two legs. And then this whole assembly, actually you unpeg this little joint from here. And then this whole piece comes up. You can kind of see that way the hinge works in there. And then there's a peg right here that's going to peg into the back of this kneecap. He's still got knee articulation. The articulation's up here, but you want to peg that together like that. Just out and around. And peg that in. And here's where it gets kind of cool. This piece right here, this black joint, you want to straighten it out, kind of rotate this so the foot's facing down. You want the black inner connector piece to be facing out. And then this whole assembly, you can kind of see, rotates down. And you'll see there's a little kind of notch over on this side in the yellow to allow for the bigger green bit here to slide in. And you just slide that inside the leg. And that's where that stores. It just kind of fits right in there like that. So you don't have anything hanging off the side of the legs here. It stores inside the hollow here. So again, the same thing over here. Just kind of rotate that. Rotate it down and in. And you're good to go. And then the foot, there is an ankle tilt here, which is nice. The foot, you just bring this little heel spur out and then pop. There's a little tab there to flop the foot out. See over here, and you can push on this little tab. If you can get your finger in there, you can get up under here as well and pull that foot out. But there is a tab to allow you to do it. And you stand them up, leave these hanging on the back. Get them all straight here. Again, that ankle tilt will help. And then this green piece, you just pull this forward, pull his head up, and then snap it back into place. And there is FENRIR in robot mode. And like I said, you've got the foot, which one of the promo shots had this pegged in down here on his leg into this slot. And you can do that. If you want to have the missile launcher down here on his leg, you can do that. The missile launchers, I generally just find something else to do with them. But he does have the same pistols that Troll does. And you can have him hold them in his hand like this. There's a peg up here. Personally, I'd use this peg just because if you use this peg, you're seeing the inside of it. But entirely up to you. And you can put them on either hand, obviously. Now, he doesn't have anything on his forearms like Troll did to plug the guns in. You can store them up here on his shoulders if you'd like. Although, again, I'd recommend doing it this way. I just feel like that detail looks a little bit better than just the underside. So you can plug those into his shoulders. And like I said, these hook pieces here can also be held in his hands. The pegs are just the right size. So you can give him some hook weapons as well. He's got a ball-jointed head up here. Swivel, like the arms just swivel this way. But he does have, as long as it's not in the way, an in and out shoulder swivel, a bicep swivel, dual hinged elbows here. He does have a wrist swivel just like the others, which is kind of cool for flip out hands. The waist swivel, ball joint. Actually, they're universal hips. They can go this way, this way, and this way, and this way, but not they're not ball joints. Kind of just above the knee swivel. He does have the knee articulation. There's the heel spur and the foot have a little bit of movement, and there is that piece that works as an ankle tilt. So all in all, like, once again, he's got some nice articulation. And again, since we did it one in robot mode, here he is with Fellow Saber, and you can see he's at this point he's just slightly shorter than Fellow Saber. The top of his head comes up to about Fellow Saber's nose. So they're not, again, they're not tiny figures. And just for the fun of it, there's that KO Abominus. And you can see he comes up about the same height that the foot did. So yeah, there's FENRIR. Here he is with his teammates Troll and Alberic. Troll's the tallest. To the top of the head, Troll is the tallest of the three, although Alberic does, with his shark head, reach the highest height. The tallest height in overall form. But yeah, they're looking good together. There's two more members. We got their version of Windraiser and their version of Hunger on the way. And then we'll have the full big combined Mamma Jamma. So yeah, it's not bad. I have noticed every time I pull these out and pull these in for reviews, there's some of the pieces are getting some slight wear on them, especially the black pieces are where I'm noticing it the most. You can kind of see there's a little bit of scraping up here on the tab and up here. Nothing's gotten loose. Nothing seems to be breaking or anything, but just some of the sharp edges on these guys are tending to they're just not quite as sharp on a lot of these. And in some cases, that's not a bad thing. But just be aware of them. You know, don't mistreat them. Like they feel fine as toys. I don't think they're gonna fall apart or explode. They are put together very well. Just something I noticed and figured I'd point out while I was thinking of it. And again, they do come to work in my work bag. I do my best to protect them. They could have been bumping around in there. That could have caused a little bit of rubbage as well. But like I said, I'm just to give you a heads up. So there is FENRIR and the rest of the Orden team, and we'll look forward to seeing the last two.